Go ahead, put it on real tight. Hope you brought your best tonight. They say they got the fireworks, yeah, they say they got the show. Here around the chutes, you're the best, so let's go.
This is Texas Toast. I'm your host, Miss Helen. Kick back and enjoy as we toast the best from Texas.
Hey everyone, welcome to Texas Toast. I'm Miss Helen, along with an awesome singer-songwriter, award-winning songwriter. Also, you have an award-winning event. Welcome, Thom Shepherd. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me today.
I have so been looking forward to this, and it was like when One Boot came out. Of course, I followed your music, played your music on the radio, but when One Boot came out a couple months ago, I was like running around playing it for everybody. And we went ahead and got you scheduled for the podcast, and it was going to be way down the road. And I kept saying, can't we bump time up? Please, let's bump Thom up because I want to talk about that. But let's talk about your songwriting. You've had 5 number ones, all of which are some of my all-time favorites with Kyle Parks, The Night Is Young, Redneck Yacht Club, Beer Season, Kevin Fowler. I have a funny story about that. And ultimately writing with Private Malone. That is that is a heritage song. It touched so many people. So tell me a little bit about writing that song.
Well, I was living in Nashville, and I had gotten a publishing deal. And so I was able to quit my day job, and I was just writing songs. And that lasted for 2 years. I didn't get any hits, so I got fired, and I had to go back to my day job. But the guy that I had written for on Music Row said, the door is still open if you want to come use the office. Sometime you can. And one day I was over there, and he said, I want to challenge you to write a song that only you care about. Like, don't try to write a hit. Just write something only you care about. So that's where the idea started. And then I wrote it with the guy named Wood Newton. And that's kind of where Private Malone was born.
It's a great song, great song. And then Beer Season, I want to talk about that because I fish a lot, and I was on the boat. The game wardens stop periodically and check for your life jackets and throw cushions and all that. And they're always real good. We have everything ready. And I turned my music down, and Beer Season was playing, and it got to that part about the game warden.
Oh, yes. He's sitting right next to me.
How real does that get? But that's a good one, too. And Redneck Yacht Club, we play that a lot along the coast. So tell me about that fun song.
That one, I have a friend, Steve, that had this piece of junk pontoon boat. He went out on the lake one day, and he got just past the no-wake zone, and the thing died out on him. And he said, I forgot my phone, and he said, I was literally without a paddle. And he said, I was sitting there just drifting, nobody to pull me back in. And he said, I was looking at the marina thinking, from out here, the marina looks nice. From out here, you might mistake it for a yacht club or something. And he said, but you take a closer look, you find out pretty quick it's more of a redneck yacht club.
I love it. And then an ultimate Texas song is My Texas, Josh Abbott Band and Pat Green. Wow.
Yeah. I'm very proud of that song. That's the first and only song I've written with Josh Abbott. We met up and got together, and he said, I want to write something for my record that's, about Texas. He said, I have a lot of Texas songs on it, and I want a song that'll sort of tie all those other ones together. And he said, but I don't want to say all the stuff that's been said a million times, like the Rio Grande, the Dallas Cowboys, Alamo, all that stuff. He said, I want to write a song about the Texas that I know and love, because if you don't know the Texas I know and love, then you haven't even met Texas yet. And I was like, ooh, yeah,
it's a great song. That's another one of those staples you have to have on your playlist. So how long have you been songwriting?
Oh gosh, since the early 90s, really, almost 30 years. Hard to believe.
I know. Your list is like this long. It just goes on and on and on. And I had so many songs written down, and I knew that I had to kind of limit them. But I do want to mention another song. It's just the humorous side of your songwriting and singing. But I remember when we got App for That in at the radio station. It was such a breath of fresh air. We were laughing. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's a fun song.
Yeah, that song came from, it's funny where songs come from sometimes. So I was doing a songwriting class thing. I used to do this thing where people who were looking to try new careers could hire you to hang out with you for 2 days, and you would teach them about your career. So this guy named Larry Center. He came down to Nashville because he wanted to learn about being a songwriter, and that was the title that he had. And we wrote it in, gosh, a few hours. And it just, at the time, it just, some songs write themselves, especially when there's a lot of, good ideas surrounding the title.
Mm-hmm. A lot of good stuff there. So let's talk about your current single, One Boot. I've noticed it gained some traction this week. It moving up the charts as it very well should. So yeah, once again, that hit home with me, that song. So tell me about how that one came about.
Well, I find if I find myself saying something over and over again, it usually turns into a song. And I kept finding myself saying, yeah, we do all these Texas gigs, but we also do a lot of stuff for the Parrot Heads. So we travel from Texas to Florida a lot. And I kept saying, yeah, it's like we got one boot in Texas and we got one flip-flop in Florida. And a friend of mine said, well, why don't you say, instead of one boot in Texas, why don't you say one boot in the red dirt? Because the red dirt music scene. I was like, ooh, yeah, that's good. So that's kind of where it came from. But that's my favorite kind of songwriting because it's about me. It's reporting on my life and what I like, and I love sharing that with people. And that's the most honest kind of writing there is, I think.
Mm-hmm. So I see you have your guitar. You want to sing a little?
Yeah, you want me to sing you that one?
Yeah, sing a little.
Some One Boot. All right.
Yes.
I'm very excited. The record is turning out really great. That's the first one that we've gotten done. Got about a dozen other things kind of in the works right now, trying to get them all finished. So
awesome.
We burn up so many miles between the Lone Star and Sunshine States. People ask, well, which one do you like the best? Man, it's really hard to say, 'cause we got songs about cowboys, we write songs about the beach, but we ain't just one or the other. I guess we're somewhere in between. I got a shiner in my left hand and a land shark in my right. Ain't nothing like a Sarasota sunset or a South Padre Saturday night. Paradise to me is somewhere between a steel guitar and a steel drum band. One boot in the red dirt and one barefoot in the sand. Let's go. Headed south out of Key Largo on a sunny A1A kind of day. But I've been thinking about Green Hall and Looking Bonk and that Houston rodeo stage. Now this resistance straw makes a perfect shade, but so does a tall palm tree. Looking at my life through these Maui gems, you know it all looks pretty good to me. I got a deep Eddie in my left hand and some Siesta Key in my right. Down at Corpus and at Key West, you know it's always Saturday night. Now I'm right at home on the back of a horse or on a Cape Coral catamaran. One boot in the red dirt and one barefoot in the sand. Now I love them both, but you know you can't be two places at one time. I think a compromise is that Texas Gulf Coast line, with a margarita in my left hand and some Tito's in my right. There ain't nothing like a Pensacola sunset or a 4-day Saturday night. Paradise to me is somewhere between a steel guitar and a steel drum band. One boot in the red dirt and one barefoot in the sand. It's that coastal combination that makes me who I am. One boot in the red dirt and one barefoot in the sand. Come on.
Oh man, thank you for that. That's an awesome song. Where do you get your love of the saltwater life and the coast?
Well, you know, I mean, who doesn't love being at the beach, right? A few years ago, I got hired to do a gig for some Jimmy Buffett fans, the Parrot Heads, you know, back in, gosh, 2007. And I find that they like to gather where it's warm and where it's beachy. And I thought, I wouldn't mind doing some more of that myself. So, but I mean, I grew up on a lake. I've always been kind of a lake and river guy when I was a kid, you know, growing up in Missouri. But yeah, it's nice. If you want to, I found if you want gigs that are near the beach, it helps if you have some songs about the beach.
Well, you nail it. I mean, it's like you're just so salt. We're so salt. We're salty people here, and
Yeah.
it's like your songs are so salty. And I want to talk about Saltwater Cowboy. Our fishing gang was here last night having supper, and I was we were outside talking fishing, talking our plans for fishing, and these guys fell in love with Saltwater Cowboy, and you just nail it on there, because there's been plenty of times it's been a slow fishing day, and I'll accidentally throw my top water and some dumb fish will actually catch it. They'll be like, "Good catch, Helen, good catch." I'm like, "I found the only dumb fish in the bay today." I wouldn't call that great.
Right.
But I love that the fishing instead of catching, and it's the whole Saltwater Cowboy is an awesome song.
Thank you. That's another one of those songs that I feel like is, you know, kind of like One Boot, where it's, you know, it's about Texas, but it's also about being on the water. And I didn't write that one. That one actually was written by a guy named Phil O'Donnell and a guy named Ron Harbin and a guy named Cyril Rawson. And I've known that song for years, and I thought, one day it hit me, I thought, this is perfect. This is what we're living, breathing, singing about. We need to do this song too. So I made it the title of the record.
And it works out. So it worked out so good. And I know I'm kind of going back and forth with stuff, but the one thing that was great about that song is these are also, they live inland, but they fish here all the time, and they are literally saltwater cowboys. I told them their next fishing team should be Saltwater Cowboys.
It's true.
I suggested that.
It's a
Highly
good name.
suggested that. And then another one I picked was, and I'm just picking songs that are so relatable here, is Peer Pressure. Of course, Jason and Alan and Kreger were on that one, and it just made me smile because it's so relatable. Because there's times we're ramping at the boat ramp, or we know where the beer drinking's going to be, and we fished all day. We know we need to get home, and it's like you're just not looking, and then next thing you know, you stay for one, and
it's true.
Yeah,
another
you're staggered out.
Autobiographical song. That one also wrote with the guy I wrote Redneck Yacht Club with, my friend Steve Williams, and that was our life. For a little while, I had a boat down at the marina where Steve had his boat, and the first year I had a boat slip. It was kind of down at the end, so I would have to walk past the tiki hut to get to the car. And every time that would happen, you know, you'd be out on the boat all day, and then it'd be like, oh, we're stuck here for another couple more hours hanging out. Even when you're tired and you're, you know, they're like, come on, play us some songs, have a beer. And so, yeah, the second year I had a boat there, I got my boat slip on the parking lot side of the tiki hut, so I could whip in and just get to the car and go and not stay there all night.
That's smart. That's smart. But in us coastal towns, it happens like that. And another one, always Saturday night. That's how it is around here.
Yeah, that's true. That song's about going down and playing in Key West. You know, when we first moved to Austin, I thought, you know, we want to do Texas gigs and travel around there. And the very first summer we were there, I got a call from this guy in Key West that has a bar called the Smokin' Tuna. And I think that's where they do a lot of stuff, you know, for the Mile Zero Fest, does things there. But we've played Smokin' Tuna for the last 10 years now, and it's kind of our Key West home base. And I thought, I want to write a song about Key West, and my friends that work there told me, the line says, I asked Robert at the Tuna, is it always like that? Is it always Saturday night? And Robert doesn't work there anymore, but the people that do still work there tell me that people come in all the time and go, is Robert here?
Oh, awesome.
So we love it, though. It's great. And I found, the Parrot Heads, they're fans of Jimmy Buffett because Jimmy's a songwriter's songwriter. And I feel like the Texas music crowd really is like, the Parrot Heads are pretty much Texas music listeners, but with Hawaiian shirts on.
True. Very true. I like that. You should write a song. Have you written a song about that yet?
No, but I should. That's another thing. I keep saying it over and over and over again. It needs to find its way into a song.
And speaking of that, you have a big event every year that you've actually won TMRA event of the year, your Lone Star Luau.
Yeah, we won it the last 2 years, and I just found out we're nominated again for the our Lone Star Luau music event. This will be our 5th year doing it. We didn't do one this year because of COVID in February, but it'll be next February. It's in Conroe, and we've got kind of a real diverse lineup. We've got Gary P. Nunn coming. We've got Django Walker is coming. And we have a couple guys from Nashville. Well, 3 guys. Trent Wellman, who's phenomenal.
Love Trent.
And Paul Overstreet and Win Varble. I don't know if you know those guys, but they're phenomenal. Then on the beachy side of things, we have a guy named Donnie Brewer, who has been the TRMA Entertainer of the Year the last 4 or 5 years, and he's actually from Austin. And we have some up-and-comers, a young lady named Aubrey Wallet, who's phenomenal, and an artist named Erica Sunshine Lee. And we got some California guys called the Wheelan Brothers. They're kind of like this kind of laid-back surfer Jack Johnson kind of vibe. So
cool.
It's going to be a really cool mix of stuff.
And it's at the new Margarita Resort, right?
That's right. The new Margaritaville Lake Resort in Conroe, just up the road from Houston. And it's an amazing facility. We can fit more people this year. So we can hold about 600, and I think we are getting close to being sold out. So LoneStarLuau.com. Check it out.
Oh, definitely. I've been wanting to go to that resort. It's just so hard breaking away. And then, of course, things were shut down for COVID. But that's going to be such a super match for you having your Lone Star Luau there.
It's perfect. It just fits our life, really. That's what we've done the last few years is, Texas meets the beach.
I love it. So you also have done a lot of tours and performed for the troops on your military performances.
I have. I'm very proud of that. I've been on 10 of them, 10 trips for Armed Forces Entertainment. 7 of them were overseas. And, I've met guys on those trips that I'm still friends with. I'm still in touch with. We met a guy in the hospital in Germany one time named Josh. And he was recovering from his injuries, and we played him some songs. And he said, well, I'm a songwriter too. So I handed him this big red guitar here. And he played us some of his songs, there in the bed while he was getting his Purple Heart. And we're still friends. He is now a member of the House of Representatives of the state of Alaska. So it's amazing. We've got to see some really amazing parts of the world. We've been to Africa, been to Kosovo, been to Belarus. You can't even go to Belarus anymore. It's pretty dangerous. But never made it to Iraq or Afghanistan, but I told the people at Armed Forces Entertainment, hey, look, just send us where you need us, and we'll be happy to go.
Wow, that's a great thing. And you and your wife do a lot together. Y'all perform together. Coley, your wife.
Yeah, Coley McCabe. She's my beautiful better half, I like to say.
She's gorgeous. Her voice is beautiful.
Thank you. She's amazing. She had a record deal with RCA in Nashville, and she has a song in the movie Where the Heart Is with Ashley Judd and Natalie Portman.
Very familiar with that movie.
And she is the only person at our house that has a platinum album hanging on the wall. I don't have any platinums, but she does. She wrote a big hit song for Shadazy. Remember those girls?
I remember them.
She wrote that song, Lucky for You, Tonight I'm Just Me.
Yes.
That was a top hit and a platinum selling record.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So and it's great, that we get to travel and tour together, and perform together, and it's great. We don't have to be apart because we both do the same job together. So,
That does make it nice. That does make it nice, especially in the business that you're in.
it does. And today we were in Minneapolis. We are on our way to Iowa to do a show at the Surf Ballroom, which
All right.
is where Buddy Holly did his final show. And we played there one other time. It's just legendary. Just, you can imagine the history in that place. It's just so exciting. We're doing that this weekend.
So what's your live shows like?
Well, it's pretty much all original, all of our own stuff, and typically it's me and Coley kind of, telling the stories behind the songs and just kind of barbing back and forth with each other.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun. Definitely people say, "Do you do all the hits?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, I do the hits." I can't do a show and not do Private Malone,
True.
or not do Redneck Yacht Club. So it's the best. It's the best feeling. And then doing the new stuff too. I mean, we're excited. We're working on a new record. That's at last count this morning. I think we have 14 songs that it's like, this could be 2 records. I don't know, but.
So you're getting that worked on, and how far down the line do you think it'll be till it's ready to be released?
Well, we're shooting for Lone Star Luau, which is in February. We're shooting to have
good.
it done by then so we can kind of have it at the event and have that be the debut. We're hoping February, but right now it's going kind of slow because all the people working on our record are all road people. Then we're all back to work again. When we start committed to doing the record, everybody was home going, "Oh, I got all the time in the world to make a record."
Yes.
Now we're all back working again. It's hard to get stuff finished.
Yes. Well, you've got a lot of stuff going on, and outside of all of that, I saw where you have a YouTube channel for songwriters, or it's the songwriters or something.
Yeah, I do. I've found over the years that I've met so many writers, even ones that do it for a living, that don't really know how everything works. There's so many facets of being an independent musician and being a songwriter. And so I thought, I wanted to make some videos about, sort of the behind the scenes stuff, like how we get paid. And then also I did a bunch of interviews with hit songwriters that are friends of mine, asking them the stories behind their songs. And because that's fascinating to me. I always love the singer-songwriter kind of show with, where the guys tell the story behind the song.
That's what I like too. I've always, I guess my heroes have always been songwriters, because
Yeah.
even when we would get the songs in back in the old CDX days, when you'd have the CD, I'd turn it over to, preview the new music, but I wanted to know who wrote the songs.
Yeah.
And that's because without the songwriters, we don't have those songs.
That's true.
So to me, that's just, y'all are just the most amazing people I know. So as far as if you didn't get into music, or you weren't a musician, which I can't imagine you not being, but what would you have done as another profession?
Well, when I first started out, when I was a kid, I always loved doing artwork and doing like drawing and things like that, and I've always done that. But honestly, my high school guidance counselor said, that's a tough job to have as a living. You're going to probably starve if you do that for a living. You should probably do something that pays better.
Then you go into music.
So yes, I picked a much more stable field of music. But no, along the way, I started working for an independent filmmaker, and I was really thinking I was going to be in that world. When I went to college, I studied mass communications, and film and television, and I thought that's what I was going into. But I started playing music, and it was so much fun. And a good friend of mine one day said, "What are you going to do when you graduate?" And I said, "I don't know. I'll just get a job here in Virginia, probably doing film and TV, and play music for fun on the weekends." And he was like, "Do you have a job lined up here?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "Man, if I was a guy your age, I'd go get a day job doing that in Nashville. And then, you can be pursuing your music, and then you got a real shot at doing something with it, as opposed to just playing the VFW every weekend." And I thought, I never thought about that. So about a week later, I made a trip. This is what I'm doing.
What a great story. And what would,
So
can't imagine what we do without all the music that you've given us.
it's a lot.
Keep it coming.
It's a lot.
Keep it coming.
It's funny. We'll do shows sometimes. It's funny. We have a new manager. His name's D. Foster, and I told him, I said, yeah, we played last night and it went good. We played like 2.5 hours. He's like, 2.5 hours, man. You should only be doing a shorter set. I'm like, well, we did 2.5 hours and there were still 10 songs they wanted us to do that we didn't get to. So
I know that was like me prepping for this and going through and reminding myself of all your music and listening. And it was like, okay, I got to stop because there was so many songs I wanted to talk about, but
there's a lot.
That coastal stuff, you got it going on. I'm going to make my own Thom Shepherd channel so we can just play it down here all the time.
That's good. I like
for
to say
our visitors.
It's good boat music.
It is. I'm a salty girl and that works for me.
Well, we need to come down and do a show down there on the boat.
Oh, that would be awesome. Kyle's been on the boat with me. I had him and Trent Cowie came down and we had a good time, but yeah, it's a good life. I love living on the coast. If I didn't live in the coast, it would be the hill country for sure. But sometimes when I go inland, after a while, I get claustrophobic. I've got to get back home. It's a thing. It's just a lifestyle thing. So thank you so much. And we're going to be following One Boot and watch it progress up the charts and keep talking about it because like you can ask Kyle, I couldn't shut up about One Boot when it first came out. I was like, get with Jen. I emailed Jen. I was like, oh my gosh, this song is amazing. So thank you for that. Awesome. Thank you for taking the time to visit with us. And one last question before I let you go. If you were a cocktail, what would you be?
A cocktail? I've always kind of been a whiskey and Diet Sprite kind of guy.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Thom Shepherd. And I look forward to more great music coming from you.
All right. Thank you. It's been great being on there. I look forward to coming down and seeing you.
Absolutely. Please.
And with a heavy tongue, she knew where I was from. As she left, I dare to say, well, you can go to hell. Hell, I'll go to Texas. I've had my fill of every place but home.